Okay, let's set the scene. Imagine it's 2026. You turn on the news and wow, the headline is just unbelievable. A sitting president has been abducted. We're talking about Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, literally taken from his home and flown out of his own country. And get this, the country claiming they did it? The United States. Apparently, U.S. forces have flown him straight to New York to stand trial. I mean, this is something we've just never seen before in modern history. So the first thing on everyone's mind is why, right? Why would something this drastic happen in 2026? To figure that out, we've got to look at the story they're telling everyone, the official reason. All right, Section 1, the official reason. So, the justification for this wild move, it's not some new idea, nope. They're actually dusting off a really old piece of American foreign policy, one that's been shaping this part of the world for 200 years. It's called the Monroe Doctrine, and you're not going to believe how old this thing is. We're talking 1823. Back then, President James Monroe basically put up a giant keep-out sign for European powers, saying, hey, the Americas, that's our sphere of influence. This is our backyard. And that message has stuck around. And don't think this is just some obscure history lesson. Donald Trump himself reportedly called this whole thing an updated version of the Monroe Doctrine. He's not being subtle here. He's basically telling the world what playbook he's using. So when you look at this timeline, you see this abduction isn't just some random event. It's the latest move in a 200-year pattern. From the doctrine itself in 1823, to backing armed groups in places like Haiti and Nicaragua, to the decades-long pressure on Cuba, it's a consistent story. This is just the most extreme chapter yet. But you have to ask, is that really the whole story? Okay, Section 2, the real reason. Because, let's be honest, the official story is rarely the only story. And in this case, the real reason seems to be all about the economy. And to get to the bottom of it, we need to talk about a little secret that's hiding inside Venezuelan oil. So here's the thing you have to understand. Not all oil is the same. It's kind of like milk, right? You've got skim milk and you've got heavy cream. The U.S. shale boom produces a ton of light, sweet crude. Think of it as the skim milk. It's thin, easy to work with. But Venezuela, they've got the heavy, sour crude. That's the heavy cream. It's thick, full of sulfur, and you need special equipment to process it. And here's the kicker. The U.S. produces a ton of the light stuff, but its best refineries were built for the heavy stuff. And this chart really lays out the problem perfectly. The U.S. is pumping out all this light crude, but its giant, super expensive refineries, especially down on the Gulf Coast, were built for decades to handle heavy crude from places like Venezuela. It's a massive mismatch. They have the wrong kind of oil for their own machinery. And this isn't some abstract problem, you know? This has real consequences for regular people. When those fancy refineries don't get the heavy crude they're designed for, they just don't work as well. That means less diesel, less jet fuel, and yeah, you guessed it, higher prices at the pump for you. It could even mean job losses on the Gulf Coast. So this isn't just about grand strategy. It's about the nuts and bolts of the whole system. It's about industrial plumbing, really. So now that we have a better idea of why this happened, let's talk about the what now. Because with Maduro gone, Venezuela suddenly has a massive power vacuum. And we all know what fills a vacuum: chaos. So who's going to step up and take charge? You've got the loyalist VP, Delcy Rodriguez, maybe Maduro's brother, who runs the National Assembly. Then there's the opposition that the U.S. has been backing, but pretty much everyone agrees they don't have much real support from the people. And then there's the military, but it's not at all what you think it is. Yeah, see, to understand the Venezuelan army, you have to follow the money. They're not getting one single paycheck from the government. The whole thing is a mess. You've got some units getting paid in Chinese yuan from special projects. You've got others getting paid under the table in US dollars. And their official state salary, it's basically worthless. So loyalty isn't to the country, it's to whoever is paying you. Maduro was the guy juggling all these different factions. Now that he's gone, who keeps that whole thing from falling apart? And this is where we zoom out, because this isn't just about chaos in Caracas. This sets a really dangerous precedent for the whole world. It feels like a brand new and very scary global playbook has just been written. And look, history gives us a pretty stark warning about how this stuff ends. Just look at this list. Iran in 53, Panama in 89, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan. The story is just tragically the same every time. When an outside power comes in and forces regime change, it almost never ends with a stable democracy. What you get is state collapse, civil war, and power vacuums that get filled by people who are way, way worse. So this is the real takeaway, the thing we have to grapple with. The abduction of a sitting president has now been put on the table. The new rule of the game seems to be, if you're a country with resources we want and you don't play ball, we can just take your leadership.